Yeah, it didn't work out.
It.
I was
I
completely
think a
off.
big part is on. Oh, I took the blame. I thought it was
You
me.
take the blame?
I thought it was me. I was willing to fall on that knife.
I'm pretty sure it was me, but I mean,
I think
no point
bigger
in both
thing.
of us taking the blame,
Yeah.
so it was
All right.
you.
Okay. All right. This is how
Well,
One
we're
Direction
back.
ended.
We're back, man. Man,
It's been a minute.
this has been a while. Like, I didn't think about it until just now. Like, until as soon as we started, it's like, wow, I think I almost, like, forgot how to do this.
Yeah. What do we do here?
Yeah. What is it? What is this? What do we do at this point?
I just like to fill in the listeners. We're in a change of scenery right now,
Yeah.
and it's a little creepy just because there's some sketchy stuff happening over here with these two people in the corner. I don't know if you can see that.
Well, I was busy looking through these people's window.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I guess I'm the creepy one in this situation.
we're on a different thing there. But yeah, there's that. And then, of course, we do our usual catch up. What do you?
I can't remember what was going on the last time we recorded one of these. Like, I don't know what to start from.
Yeah, no,
It's been a while.
There's probably a lot of things we should catch people up
Probably
on.
more from your end. There's always more interesting. Wasn't that what we were talking about last time? How not doing shit I was?
Oh yeah. So then let's start there. Why don't you start there? You have
I'm
a couple
still
life
not really
updates.
doing that much shit.
Not that much, but you're doing more now. We got life
Barely.
updates. Well, go ahead and fill people in, all right?
Let's see. Start working out more. Got some grown man. I'll get into that after. Remind me to come back to the grown man.
Yeah.
Transformation.
Okay, we'll come back. I might not remember because my mind's being weird. Okay?
I guess the most important thing is, or the biggest thing is, I started a new job. It's cool.
It's alright.
It's alright. It's nothing too big.
Not scheduled
yeah.
too much.
Yeah. See, I feel like you're going back like I did last time. You're trying to throw
That's
shade.
all I'm gonna say then. No more.
Don't add that in, man. Yeah, I'm new. I don't get scheduled that much. Alright? It happens. But the thing I'd rather talk about is me graduating from kid Gohan to teen, or I guess no, from teen Gohan to adult Gohan.
All right.
I'm officially in my adult Gohan phase.
You made
I think. I got some weird grown man strength that I've inherited, y'all. I just turned 24 this year, and people always ask you, they always say, oh, so you're 24. How do you feel older? You feel different? And you're always like, no, I just turned 24. I feel exactly the same. And that normally goes year after year.
Yep.
And you always wonder, like, oh, what's it going to be like? How am I going to feel? What's it going to
When
feel
do I
like?
start feeling older?
When do I start feeling older? I feel older, but in a good way. I think I've developed grown man strength, which is like the precursor to old man strength. Which is cool because I always wanted old man strength, but now I got grown man strength because like you can feel it, right?
Oh yeah,
When you grapple,
definitely.
it's weird. It's out of nowhere. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm more excited about that than my new job.
Got
Being
some-
honest.
Kind of got some grown man weight gains. Would you say?
Yeah,
Grown man body
I'm not.
now?
I don't look like a teenager anymore.
You finally gained your
I finally have a man's body.
your adult thickness.
Yeah.
Don't move too much.
Oh yeah, sorry. Forgot.
Your adult thickness.
So what about you?
Well, let's see. Let's jump into right now, and then I'll move a little bit, just a slight bit backwards. So right now, I'm sitting here with some fresh old braids. Got them bunned up at the top, feeling pretty hype. Just gotta get them faded on the side. Gotta get my sides faded. Let's see. Let's move backwards a little bit. Sitting on stacks, not trying to brag, but stopped at the ATM today to pull out some stacks. Some racks, if you will. Let's see. My life updates. Oh. Both of my dealers. I mean, I know that's not where we normally go on this podcast. Both of my dealers who worked with me as coworkers, though, they're gone.
Your
So
plugs.
both of my plugs are gone.
When you need it the most.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I'm on the less interesting end this time. I don't have.
Been riding the city bus a lot lately.
Saw a tweaker on the bus. Actually,
Ooh.
yeah. He wasn't that interesting of a tweaker though. He just was like he couldn't sit still.
Oh.
He was doing a lot of bodily movements. I can't really.
Oh.
Yeah, made me feel unsafe because I was in a close vicinity. I just don't trust tweakers. Haven't been around too many of them.
You can't. They can't trust themselves.
Let's see.
I feel like the biggest thing is
I
that
went to a bit of a trash party,
That's true. You did.
but
Yeah, you told me
I
about
feel like
that.
the less I say is better, just so no one's feelings are hurt.
Yeah, that's true. You shouldn't put people on blast.
So
You definitely shouldn't, because it's not like you've been going to a lot of parties.
that's true.
So it's pretty easy to put together real quick whose party you're talking about. Shouldn't put people on blast. Probably shouldn't even brought it up.
Kind of want to
actually.
recant. Yeah, I just want to.
But you
rewind
can't.
on that.
If you didn't say it, I probably would have said it. I'll be honest with you.
Man,
Because I wasn't
Alright.
there. I didn't go.
Yeah. Anything else really
I think the
interesting?
biggest thing is that me and you have been doing a lot of things separate now.
That's true.
Spending a lot more
Seeing
time
a lot-
separately.
Seeing each other a lot less.
Yeah. Been seeing a lot of fights.
I feel like there are some things I'm leaving out though.
Probably are, but does it really matter?
I guess not.
It doesn't.
I just felt like you might have.
But we have missed out
Mentioned more things
on an
on
episode
yourself.
or two, right?
Yeah.
So I think we jump right into it now because we
Let's
got a lot
get-
to
yeah,
cover, right?
A lot of stuff we want to get into.
Yeah.
Let me see, because I had a couple things that I want to talk about. Some of them are iffy.
Yeah, if you have, I think
We
you had
could,
a couple of questions you said you want to ask me that you want to save for
Questiones.
the.
Oh yeah, do you
for the
possibly
podcast.
remember them? Because my memory's trash.
It was.
It
Was
was
it something
about
about the Rockets?
yeah. Okay, no, yeah, you're right. So first thing I asked you was about, I was like, okay, something about Melo being on the Rockets.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not too. Like I'm in such high belief of what I think that I don't really care about what you think about that, which is gonna sound rude. So I immediately changed the question because I had something I do want to know what you think about, which is Rondo is all he's
Oh, yeah.
putting his name out there. He's like, I can mentor this Lonzo kid for y'all. I could really boost him up as much as I can if y'all want that. So I want to know what you think. One, do you promote that? Do you want him to be under his wing? And two, how well do you think he grows from that? Think that's pretty good
Okay.
mentor?
So, what was the first part of it?
Do you promote it?
like,
do
do I-
you ship that
I like
mentorship?
Yeah, well, in terms of what he has on that team, I mean, it's not like he's at a loss for guidance and leadership and experience, because they added some. You have LeBron, okay. The guidance doesn't get better. I've seen there's few people I've seen take more of an a interest in their team than LeBron. That is something that you gotta give him. So there'll be guidance, there'll be leadership, and LeBron, like, we've known how much LeBron has an affinity for Lonzo.
Yeah,
one.
definitely.
But yeah, I think Rondo, I think it's cool. I think I like it, especially because with Rondo, as hard as it is for me to say it, because I don't like him.
Yeah, like it's funny because the viewers they don't know that much. I do.
The-
I've heard you say some hilarious things about Rajon
The
Rondo.
listeners, yeah. They, well, I'm a big time Lakers fan. Rondo was a part of what I call the bald squad. Celtics. I don't know why I call them. Oh, it's because everyone they were either bald or had a really low fade.
Yeah.
Everyone had that minimal. It was a minimum hair requirement. Everyone.
I can understand why it burned because they all were so ugly.
But Rondo was a part of that squad,
So ugly.
and they won rings. And I've always disliked him because of that. Because I was a child when that happened to me, and you hold on to the things that happened to you as a
That's
kid.
true because you're very emotional then.
But he's been on a lot of teams, and he has a lot of experience. And where I will give it to him is he has this he brings the things to the table that that Lonzo could afford to learn, could afford to pick up. Kind of like court vision.
Yeah.
As much as I like Lonzo and he's pretty good for a young guy, he could, like, Rondo's played for so many teams and so many different players, and he is able to stay pretty consistent across, like, no matter the system or the players styles that are around him, he stays consistent in what he does.
Yeah.
So I think Lonzo could afford some consistency and being able, I think also in terms of the media.
Mm-hmm.
Rondo has been his career, and he's been a big name in the league. So he's learned, like, he was winning rings.
Yeah.
That's when you're at the pinnacle of being, like, watched. He knows how to deal.
Yeah.
Like, he's had his times of negative stuff in the media about him and stuff, but with Lonzo, he really could afford someone who's been through it and knows how to get through it, because his dad most likely is always going to be bringing him,
dragging him through. Yeah.
He's going to be bringing him some unwanted attention his whole career, so he could afford to have someone who has been through negative situations in the media throughout their career and knows how to be like, I'm gonna coach you through it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's cool. I like it. I'll take it. Long as it doesn't start drama. That's my biggest fear, is that Rondo normally can get associated with drama, and Lonzo, like we just mentioned, his dad is always going to be there, and that man is drama.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that there will be problems, because Coach Luke Walton has already said they're going to compete for minutes. Or maybe he didn't say it. Maybe he didn't say it. Maybe he alluded to it.
You talking about Lonzo and Rondo?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not, like, he's not just deciding who's starter and who's bench. It's going to be kind of a performance base. Maybe that wasn't him I heard say that. But I'm pretty sure Rondo was brought on so that Lonzo, it's a fire underneath him to keep growing and learning. So I don't know if LeVar is going to like that.
He's definitely going to have a lot to say about it.
He wants him taking all shots. He wants him playing as all the minutes that he wants to play. So I'm a little nervous for, like, a lot of these Lakers developments. I'm a little nervous.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about... So, I moved past it. Now I have to go back to it. What do you think about Melo being on these Rockets? Is that a big change? Is that a big help? Is that all right, well, I guess you're serviceable?
I mean, I don't think any team Melo goes to that he's a big help. It's harsh, but this is how I feel, at least. And on that team, on a team that is so close, it's on just the cusp of playing for an NBA title. It's so close. I don't know. I feel like he might not have been. Because he can still score, right? We know he can still score.
Yeah,
he can't score like he did once upon a time, but he can still score.
He can still score. And I think that's what I'm calling it. I'm saying he didn't make the team, he didn't break the team. He's, this move. It's just like, who was their small forward before? I don't know who it was before.
It was Ariza last season, but Ariza's in Phoenix now, I'm pretty sure.
Well, then I think he's just filling a hole, And I think offensively, he'll bring in some consistency rather than some guy who might have not been hitting. Who might have been.
Personally, I liked Ariza better.
Well, no, I'm saying if Ariza's going to be gone, if he's in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Then you know Melo's stepping in. He's going to be somewhat more consistent.
Yeah.
Even now than arguably.
What's always a question with Melo is his motivation.
That's true.
That's pretty much ever since he left Denver. The question has always been, where does his motivation lie? What is driving him? Does he actually want to win, or is he only cashing checks at this point? That's the question you always have to ask with him. The fact that he's been traded to, right? Or no? Oh no, he signed with the Rockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he got traded to the Falcons, or I always say the Falcons, the Atlanta Hawks.
And he opted out
of the contract, and then he signed a new one with Houston, right? Okay, so the fact that he signed with Houston would tell you that he must have some motivation left in him to want to win a championship. Because otherwise, you wouldn't go to the team that is going to have the most pressure on you to perform, because they're so close.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go somewhere where they're all going to be watching. And even the fact that he signed with Oklahoma City made you feel that he might have still had some motivation left. But it's always, that's one of the questions is he motivated? The other question is he willing to not have a system be built around him, but to fit the system that's already in place?
Yeah.
That's the other question. He likes being the go-to guy. And that ship has sailed, as I've said before on this podcast. And now you're on a team. See, at first you're on a team with Russell Westbrook. He was one, you were obviously two, before they brought in Paul George. And they brought in Paul George. Then I could see why maybe he had the thought in his mind that he was two and PG was three. But now you're on a team where there's no doubt, you're three.
Yeah.
You're number three. And honestly, maybe even number four.
I was going to say, the way that last season went, what's his name?
Capella? Or no?
No, I was going to say outside.
Not.
Is that Gordon? No, that's not Eric Gordon.
Yeah, Eric Gordon.
Eric Gordon. The way he was hitting on the
Eric
outside
Gordon
there?
coming off the bench. Aaron Gordon coming off the bench. PJ Tucker?
Yeah, one of them, all I know, was
Both of them
flaming from behind
coming
arc.
off the bench are good. I
Was
still
killing it
think,
behind arc.
when you look at the way Houston runs their thing, Harden and CP3 aren't always on the court together.
Yep.
This is what I was saying about Oklahoma City when Melo was there and Paul George was there. I was saying they need to break it up. They need to split it up so that everyone isn't on the court at the same time.
Yeah.
Melo didn't want that. He didn't like coming off the bench. He wanted to be a starter. He wanted maximum minutes. In Houston, they already have their system. They already have their rotation. They know how they like it. Harden and CP3 take turns leading both the starting lineup and leading the bench.
Yep.
Melo, I think, needs to fit into that rotation. I think that would be really strong to have that kind of veteran experience at that point between James Harden, Chris Paul, and Carmelo. There would be veteran experience on the court at all times. There would be scoring ability on the court at all times. That would be great if he is, that's what I'm saying, if he is willing to fit into that. If he's still like, let me be the star, or let me be a star, and I don't think it'll work. And he's on the team now, like he really has to get together, because last season was already one thing. He was on the team with an intense player in Russell Westbrook. But Russell Westbrook is intense when it comes to himself. Russell Westbrook is an intense individual, not so much of an intense leader. Chris Paul is as intense of a leader as there has ever been.
Kids, man.
He doesn't care if he's number one, number two, number three. When you go to the side, when you go to the bench in timeouts, he's coaching everyone.
Yeah.
When you go back on the court, he's coaching everyone. He's coaching James Harden. James Harden's like, I've been on this team longer than you. I know the system. You don't have to coach me. But he's on the team with James Harden, who's serious. He wants to win. He might not be as outwardly intense as other players, but he's very intense competitor.
He is.
He's very intense about winning. Chris Paul is as openly intense as they come. So Melo, he's the opposite of intense. Melo is like so just kind of like just kind of going with the motion of the game.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem
He's
to
in his
ever
own
really
zone.
be. He just seems to be like not even really paying attention to anything. That's not going to work on this team.
And what I think will really help, one, like you're saying, he's conforming to the system. He's fitting in where they need him to fit in, you know? But I've said this for a while. I think he's going to need to have like one set amount of minutes. They're going to give him his minutes wherever he's playing. Give him his set amount of minutes. Don't put him out there for too long, because I feel like he gets out there for too long, he thinks he's going to get hot. He's out there for too long. What really happens in reality, you expect him to make it, he's not performing. That's what I noticed in a lot of those OKC games. I felt like he had too many minutes.
Well, in a sense, he always has. Because yes, he was a star the majority of his career, but in terms of a skill set, let's call him what he is. He is a streaky shooter, and a lazy defender. It's what he's always been.
Yeah.
It's not something that has become of him. That's something that he's been since the very beginning of his career. He's an average defender when he decides to play defense, but the majority of the time he doesn't play defense. He can be a deadly shooter, but he kind of has to get it going.
Yeah.
He's not a guy who will, come out of a timeout and hit 2 threes in a row. He's gonna have to take you have to get him going. You gotta set him up, and that's the good thing is that, well, in terms of people to set him up, he's with the two arguably best in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in terms of getting him set up and getting him some touches, he's got 2 great guys for that. But regardless, he does need to be set up. He needs to get some touches early, to hit some easy shots early, and get a confidence going and get a flow going. Which is one of the reasons why I'm pretty sure he likes to start, because I think he knows himself, if he sits down for like 6 minutes and then he gets up for like 8 minutes and then he sits down and he gets up, he'll never get it going.
Yeah.
But I think you should just go for it. He has the skill set of a bench player. He has the skill set of a Nick Young,
Mm-hmm. And I think, because see what you're saying is, I think it's a little less about setting him up. I think it's he needs what would be brought by him being on the court with Harden, with Chris Paul, which is that I feel like he needs a little less focus on him. That way, basically every time when they're pouring the focus on CP3 or pouring it on Harden, he's still over there being as deadly as he wants to be.
Yeah, that is another thing that he still gets defended like the superstar.
Exactly.
But he isn't athletically that guy anymore. He used to be one of those guys who can make contested shots and who could take double teams, and he still believes in himself. To his credit, he still believes in himself. But you could definitely see when people get up in him now, they get up in his jersey, he's off.
Yeah.
He ain't the same. And not to be, because I feel like we're shitting on Carmelo Anthony right now.
It does sound like it a lot.
He's been here a minute.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that it's because he came into the draft class with LeBron, and we all look at LeBron and we're like, look how great he is. He's lost a step, but him losing a step is still the best player in the world, and he's still competing for a final every year, and he's still the biggest news if he decides to change what city he lives in and what team he plays for. And we look at Melo and we're like, oh yeah, he fizzled out a long time ago. And we think, oh, well, they're the same age, they're in the same draft class. But Melo was never the athlete that LeBron was. Even when LeBron was in high school and Melo was going to I can't remember what school he was going to in New York. He went to school in New York. But when he's in college and LeBron was in high school, they're at the same time. LeBron was the better athlete. LeBron's always been the better athlete, and as we know, he's a freak. Because LeBron's, what, 34?
I think so.
LeBron's 34, Melo's 34. Melo was never a huge guy. You know, Melo was never the fastest guy. He was a good scorer. But that was always just about it. And so I think now it kind of we go hard on him because we see LeBron, but everyone else in that draft class has fizzled out. It's just that Carmelo was the next biggest star in that draft class, so we expected him. We held him to that standard that he was going to be a legend. So he's still a good player. To end it the right way, not shitting on him, he's a good player. I really hope that it works out in Houston because I like Houston. I like James Harden. I know I shit on James Harden a lot on here. Most of all, what everyone should know, if they don't by now, is I love Chris Paul. And I've wanted him to be a champion since 2007. So let's get a move on things.
Yeah.
Clock is ticking.
Let's go, man. I love Chris Paul, too. I think it'll work out. But I definitely agree with your main thing, which is it's not focused on him anymore. That's not the way it'll work. And if it does, then I'll pay you $100. But yeah. So then there's another thing. There's another
oh wow, okay.
area. Not basketball wise.
All right.
But like we said, we haven't done this in a minute. So we have other things to
like I said, aside from not recording the podcast for a minute, we also just haven't been together in a minute.
Yeah. And there's a dude we've seen what he's been doing, you know. There's a guy who I feel like we don't talk about him very much. He's not too popular, but he's making a little bit of a name for himself. He's doing some things. And my interest has been piqued because I love knockouts. I love knockouts.
You talking boxing?
Nope.
You talking
MMA?
MMA?
Yeah, we are. I didn't know if I wanted to jump into it just yet, but your boy Greg Hardy. From what I've seen, he's only had first round finishes from from only what I've seen. Maybe he's had a couple other fights that went out of the first round.
He fought tonight, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, just in case you guys haven't seen it. Just
well, by the time this comes out, it'll be Thursday.
Yeah. Well, I already said spoiler alert now, but just that's so you know. If I read that correctly, that was a 15-second finish over this dude right here. Let me see. Take a looky look. But yeah, I'm excited. I like what he's doing. I like his aggression. I didn't see the clip. But I had a different question that I wanted to get into. We got a 17-second TKO. This Contender Series, I haven't watched any of it, as a whole.
Good fighters are coming out of there.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, it's some good fighters coming out of there, and it kind of. I think it's a good replacement series for the Ultimate Fighter, because I think the Ultimate Fighter's formula was old and was irrelevant at this point. Like when you think of the formula that they made the Ultimate Fighter, it was basically the UFC meets the real world.
A little bit, yeah.
And the real world has not been a relevant show for a while now. So the Ultimate Fighter was still kind of running on that formula, on that build of a reality show. That whole reality show thing, no one really cared about anymore. The only reason people watched it was for the coaches, and that was a problem. The moment it became more about the coaches than the fighters,
Yeah.
I feel like it was just downhill from there. Because those first few seasons, the fighters in the house had personalities. They were characters that we cared about, that we wanted to follow their careers. Mm-hmm. It became, for these last, like, I'd say almost like these last 10 seasons, it was just a bunch of forgettable, generic guys. You know, I feel like you had the same generic guys every year. There was no stories, and it became,
well, not skill wise. You're talking about character wise.
Character wise, there were no characters, and even the production of the show started to focus more around the coaches, which was good to build up the coaches fight, but it made you just not care about the fights that were happening.
Yeah, that's true.
This kind of brings back the excitement of seeing new young talent. This Tuesday Night Contender Series brings that back, kind of. And they're having exciting fights. I think them knowing that, one, it's not like The Ultimate Fighter where you live in a house for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something, and you kind of just have to stay on weight that whole time, or stay around weight, and the tournament style. I think the fact that this is more so run kind of like just a Bush League promotion, but they know that it's something on the line, it's a contract on the line if they're impressive. That brings back the excitement. That brings back kind of the spirit of the first Ultimate Fighter finale when Forrest Griffin fought Stephen Bonner. Or when Diego Sanchez fought Kenny Florian. You could see in those finales, those guys were fighting for their lives.
They wanted it
because
so
they
bad.
knew in 15 minutes, in the next 15 minutes, one of our lives in this cage is going to be changed.
Yeah.
And it's going to be mine. It's bringing the energy, the spirit of that back. Because they're like, okay, this is on TV, and if I'm impressive, Dana White's sitting right there. And he announces it at the end of the show. Tonight, the contracts go to this guy, this guy, this guy. So it's a good show. But yeah, so Greg Hardy. You're excited for him?
I am. And then I do have a question, but I have to ask this as well. So exactly how does the show work? Because now I know he's had 3 fights.
I've never watched it either.
Oh,
I've never watched it
okay.
either, but I think it's, I think it kind of plays off of the Dana White Looking for a Fight series.
I think so.
I think when he goes around and he sees people, who he thinks are really talented, then he just signs them directly to the UFC. And when he sees other people who might have potential, those guys he calls up for the Tuesday Night Contender Series.
I see. Okay.
Those guys, he asks if they want to fight, and obviously, who's going to say no? You get that call from Dana to fight for the Tuesday Night Contender Series. You're basically fighting for the opportunity to get into the UFC. And in this case, with Greg Hardy, being that he was somewhat of a figure before his MMA career, this kind of helps with that too. Because moving forward, now we have a platform to introduce outside celebrities, outside athletes into the sport and into the promotion. Honestly, this is where CM Punk should have started.
Yeah.
This is where CM Punk should start. This is where, if he was still alive, or when he was still alive, this is where Kimbo would have started. Anytime we get those crossovers, if Bobby Lashley ever made his way to the UFC, if he could ever, decide to pass a drug test, this is where you should start. This is the perfect place for those things, so that you're not stepping on people's toes by putting someone who hasn't earned their way onto a pay-per-view or onto a Fox card. You're not taking money out of the mouths of other fighters who have earned their place, but you are still giving someone an opportunity. And you're still building them up. Mm-hmm. You're kind of priming them. I'm not sure exactly. I just know that Dana puts the fights together. just like I guess how he would any card. This is technically a UFC event. I didn't know that. I just found that out tonight. When you look up the UFC events, like the fight night cards and the pay-per-views, counts as one event.
Really?
So he puts them together as he would any other, any other event, and then like I guess the 2 or 3 most impressive fights of the night, or if it's someone who has been fighting in the Contender Series for a while, they have 2 or 3 fights and they've been impressive and they've won, like, I guess all 2 or 3 in a row. He gives them a contract, and then they're in. That's where Sean O'Malley came from, Kevin Holland, who just fought this past weekend. They're all coming through this system.
Well, Anthony, is he from there?
Anthony Smith? I don't think so. He's been in the UFC for a while now.
Oh, so I'm just new to seeing him.
I think he's been in the UFC for a while, but he was kind of buried under the middleweight division, and now he moved up to the light heavyweight division, which we're going a little off topic now, but it was a great career move for him. Smart career move. Think about it. Middleweight division is as competitive as it's ever been in its history. In its entire history. Yeah. This is the most competitive middleweight division we've ever seen. Not just in the UFC, in MMA. In the UFC, you have Robert Whittaker, who looks like probably the greatest middleweight champion in terms of well-roundedness. Yeah. Obviously, he has not come anywhere close to Anderson Silva's accomplishments, but in terms of well-roundedness, he might be the best mixed martial artist we've had as middleweight champion. Yeah. But then if you go over to Bellator, you have Gegard Mousasi, who is his entire career he's spent as one of the best in the world. He used to be considered one of the top 5 light heavyweights in the world. When he moved down to middleweight, he was instantly one of the top 5 middleweights. I think he only had only 2 losses in the UFC, and he avenged one of them. Mm-hmm. So, that you got both of those guys. You put them against each other. That's a hard fight to call. That's a hard fight to call. You have still Yoel Romero. I know he's missed weight his last 2 times, but he's scheduled again to fight at middleweight. Mm-hmm. So where he's still middleweight for now.
And that's Acosta, right? That's who he's fighting?
Yeah. Then you have those young guys. You have Paulo Costa. You have Israel Adesanya. Looks like he's going to be a huge star. You still have your, kind of hate to say it, but he's a gatekeeper, but he's a really good gatekeeper in Derek Brunson. Mm-hmm. It's if Rockhold still makes middleweight, which I think he might end up. Oh yeah, Rockhold's fighting Weidman. You got those 2 former champions. You got Kelvin Gastelum. This is the best middleweight division we've ever seen. Yeah,
it's full.
Best middleweight division ever. Anthony Smith what was he to do?
Where was he?
Was he just stay there, keep struggling to make 185 and losing to the greatest fighters in the world? Mm-hmm. Or do you go up to 205 where it's way easier to make weight and beat up a bunch of old guys? Because that's all their division is. It's a bunch of old guys who have been beat up by John Jones and Daniel Cormier. That's what you have to deal with at light heavyweight. A bunch of guys who have had their souls taken from them by John Jones and DC. So that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing now. He's going up. He fought Rashad, pieced him. Just fought Shogun, pieced him. Now he's fighting Vulcan. That is a tough fight. That is a big fight. But where's Vulcan in the division? Like, I think he's number 3. He's number 2 or number 3 in the rankings in the division. You know who the number 2 middleweight is? Chris Weidman. You know who the number 3 is? Yoel Romero. Yeah. You want to fight number 2 or number 3 at middleweight? Or you want to fight number 2 or number 3 at light heavyweight? So it was a great career decision because you ain't got no competition. The champion isn't even in the weight class right now. He could potentially, if he wins this fight, he could potentially fight for maybe a vacant or interim light heavyweight championship.
Yeah, and he's making a clean run for it.
Yeah.
Making a clean run for it so far.
Great career decision by him.
Before we draw it back to the topic, I just want to say really quick, I think he has Vulcan. Vulcan doesn't look that talented to me. He doesn't look uber clean with his striking. He just seems to have power. So Anthony's not the hardest fight. That's how I look at it.
But I think it's going to be a really exciting fight, and I think it is. I think Vulcan is a hard fight for people, and I think it's because of that reason. I think it's because a lot of guys look at him and they see a basic guy. They see a basic guy who they feel like they can exploit, but what they can't really measure through the screen is he's tough and he's gritty. Now, is it enough to be a champion? Probably not. Will he ever be a champion? I don't think so. But is this a pretty tough fight for Anthony? Is this the biggest fight of Anthony Smith's career? Yeah, because he's fighting a guy who is equally as big as him, probably.
Yeah.
Anthony normally has a size advantage over guys. He definitely had a huge win over Shogun and Rashad.
Yeah, he looks kind of scary.
He's not going to have a size advantage really over Vulcan. Vulcan's a pretty big dude. So it's going to be, he's first time evenly matched in terms of size. And he's fighting a guy who is he's weathered the storm. He's been through the worst of it. You know, he's been in some dog fights.
Yeah.
With some tough guys, and he normally all but one time has come out unbeaten. It's just Daniel Cormier that completely outclassed him, outmatched him. But in this case, when you're going to fight Vulcan, you're going to have a fight. You're not going to have a match. Some guys you show up to have a match. Some guys you show up to have a fight.
Yeah.
You're showing up to have a fight with him. With Rashad, it wasn't going to be a fight. That was going to be a beating. I think we both knew it was going to be a beating.
Yeah. I think
and
when you start
best
out
case
rooting
scenario,
for one person, out of fear.
Best case scenario with Rashad, Anthony Smith's fight with Rashad, the best case scenario was that it was going to be a match.
Yeah.
With Shogun, we thought it could have been a fight because of Shogun's history. Mm-hmm. But Shogun has been through a lot. He's been through too many wars at this point. And even though Shogun would love in his spirit to have a war with somebody, I think he's just seen too much of it. His body's been through too many battles to be able to fight this one with this very large light heavyweight. This really big dude. He's been through 2 wars with Dan Henderson, with Nogueira, even with Machida. He's been through wars with everybody. He got knocked out by John Jones. He got dominated by Gustafsson. He's been beat up so many times in his career. That just wasn't. He couldn't have. It's pretty much what was going to happen if you show up to have a fight in that condition. But Vulcan still has. He has some miles on him, but he can still put up a fight.
So, is Vulcan a little older?
Huh? Well,
I wasn't aware of that.
I think Smith is older age-wise, but I mean Vulcan has miles on him because of his years training with the Black Zillions and training namely with Anthony Johnson. He's known for being Anthony Johnson's training partner. That's where he earned his name.
Yeah.
Because he was the only person not just willing to be Anthony Johnson's training partner, but who was capable of withstanding getting punched by Anthony Johnson day in and day out. Mm-hmm. So he has miles on him for sure. If you train with Anthony Johnson, you're gonna have miles on you. But he's withstood that. He's withstood fights with Manoa, and I can't think of the other guy he knocked out. So he's a tough dude. I personally have Vulcan in this fight. I think he has more experience in drag him out, all out fights.
Yeah.
He has more experience, and I think that's what this is going to be. I think this is going to be an all-out fight. So I think when in that type of setting, in that type of arena, he gets the edge because he knows how to survive it and he knows how to really put you out. We've seen he can put you out.
That's true. He will put you out.
Smith can put you out, but he's been putting out guys who we expect him to put out.
A little bit.
We expect him to put those guys away. So it's gonna be an exciting fight. I got Vulcan though, for the record.
But yeah, like you said,
we have it on here. We'll be able to.
That's true.
We'll be able to come
back.
That's
true. I'm standing by my pick. I got Anthony. I think he's gonna surprise us. But so like as you said, we got a little off topic there. Main thing I want to know about Greg Hardy: How much do you think? Because he's heavyweight, right? I'm assuming by his thickness,
yeah.
he's got to be a heavyweight.
Yeah.
How much do you think he shakes up the heavyweight division in actuality? Because he's building up hype. He's out here dropping fools in a little bit in short amounts of time.
He's probably going to get a contract now. I don't know. Did he?
I didn't see.
Most
That's why
likely
I was
he
wondering how
did.
it works because I was like,
Most likely
3 fights.
Most likely, if they're talking about it, most likely it's because he actually got offered a contract now.
Well, also because it was in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But
so you're saying if he does get offered a contract,
yeah, implementing him into our heavyweight division. How much does that change things? Do you think he's gonna start off ripping through that division? You think it's
well, I think they're gonna bring him along slow.
Bring him along slow.
I think the smart thing is to bring him along slow because he's a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was a defensive end for the Cowboys
I actually
don't know. or the Panthers, one of the two, either the Cowboys or the Panthers or both. But he was a defensive end in the NFL for like the better part of a decade.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good one, and he had the whole domestic violence case. So he's been a well-known guy for a while. I think they're going to bring him along slowly. Because that's a vicious heavyweight division, and he is still. I didn't see tonight's fight. Congratulations to him. I didn't see tonight's fight. I saw his last fight though in the Tuesday night series.
Yeah.
When you're that big of a dude, you're gonna hit hard. He does hit really hard. He does have pretty good timing. He has pretty good. I will say he has pretty good timing. For a ex-football player.
Yeah.
Pretty good accuracy. Not great, but once again, I'm judging him based off of he's new, he's green, in all of this. So for his level, good accuracy, good timing, good power.
But you definitely
got a lot of bad
habits.
habits. Yeah, yep. He's got a lot of bad habits. So where he stands now, I don't think he shakes it up a whole lot. But he shakes it up in the way that he's gonna maybe piss some guys off because he's gonna get paid more than they do, and they're gonna feel like, well, he only has 2 fights. And I've been in the UFC for 5 years. Like, there's gonna be some guys who are gonna be pissed off, and they're gonna want to fight him. Mm-hmm. But in reality, I don't think he does much.
Well, I gotta agree. Unless he's he has really good growth in him. He develops quickly. Yeah. If that's his thing, and I don't know. Of course, I don't know what camp where he's training at, but he definitely has a good hype train going. He's gonna have a good highlight reel. I know that much. Because the dude with the braids or whatever he had, the top hairstyle, he's light skinned. That was a good finish. I liked that finish. I enjoyed that. I don't think that either. I just want to know what you think because I don't see him coming in and ripping it away at the division. I don't see that. But before we get into the next, moving to our next thing, let me just take this moment because I thought we would have recorded before this time. I was going to do this earlier. My girl Demi Lovato. I just want to take a moment to bless her. She I was going to cover it as a topic, that we could talk about. Oh yeah. But I just figured, what, time started to roll over a little bit. She reached out to her fans, let them know how she's doing, she's recovering and stuff. She's entering rehab, which she hadn't re-entered since her first, thing, because she was like, yeah, I'm good now. I'm all right. And then she had let people know that, well, she kind of hinted at the fact that she might have relapsed in the song that she has called Sober. Everybody was like, oh, we feel for you, Demi. And then, obviously she had her moment, her OD, which I was scared because I was like, oh my God, did she die? Please don't. But yeah, so she reached out to her fans on Instagram, let them know she's well. I just want to say, keep growing, Demi. Keep going better. You'll be all right. You'll make it. And you're still bad. You're still a baddie. And from there, we'll move on to our next topic.
I just want to say while you're getting that topic, dude, It's hot as a bitch.
Oh yeah, it is. I was keeping cool about it just because I didn't want to be the first one to say it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanted you to say it.
I couldn't believe it. Like, we had been talking for a while. I hadn't noticed. And when I stopped talking, I realized how hot it was. I was like, oh,
It's kind of how it is. So, the main thing that I kept thinking was, I don't know if he can see me, but we might just be in the middle of recording and I'm going to pass out.
Yeah, it's really hot.
I'm pretty moist.
You gotta finish this.
Yeah.
You gotta wrap this up.
So, actually, I'm not going to, I was going to, I had this little article, had something about Paulo Costa. He's basically, fine, I will touch on it. Oh wow, you're dripping.
Oh, yeah.
He basically is saying like, oh, I'm hyped for this fight because I'm ready for Yoel to miss
Yoel.
weight and give me my extra purse, give me my extra percentages. But I feel like we said enough about Paul. I feel like we've said enough about Paul. What I'm gonna do is I'm not even gonna go off these topics that I have.
You got a pick for that fight?
Man, I don't know who everyone else is picking, but when I first heard about this fight, I picked Yoel because I'm like, the experience. It's the experience, and I always go with the better MMA fighter. I always go with the person who's the better overall fighter. Yoel, make weight or not, he's the better fighter. Paul obviously has some growing to do in that, like you can tell in that finish with Uriah. Striking wise, some growth. I don't know where his ground game is. You might. I don't know where that comes in for him, but I'm gonna make the assumption that he has growth to make, and there's some growing to do. And Yoel, he's pretty well rounded. He's really explosive. He's dangerous in whatever waters he takes you into, and I think two big things that we're gonna tell. We're gonna see how well his gas tank is what we're gonna see.
Paulo?
Yeah, Paul. Or it's Paulo?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't catching on to that. We're going to see how his gas tank is. And I think we're going to see his toughness. That's going to be two big things in this fight. Because I don't think the way he fights, Yoel's going to hit him. Yoel's going to be on him in one way or another, whether he's striking him up or getting... Because Paul comes directly to you, so he'll be clinching with him or striking him. And we're going to see how tough he is, his mental fortitude. And that's why I pick Yoel. We know Yoel's tough. Do we know the same about Paulo?
Yeah, well, Paulo is tough. We saw in his last fight. He's tough.
He's tough, but you can also make the call that Uriah wasn't, Uriah's hitting with a clean jab all night. It's easier to eat that than it is to eat flying knees from a 40-year-old Cuban machine.
That's not tough then. When I define tough, is what would normally make another person back down, they still will.
Well, yes, no, that is
through.
Toughness as well.
When you eat a knee, you don't have a choice.
That's true.
You don't have a say in the matter at that point.
That's
knee
true.
just concussed your skull. Now, when you get jabbed in the mouth and you get jabbed in the nose and your eyes start to water, and you still have a say on what you want to do. And his say, for so far in all of his fights, is to continue marching forward.
Yeah.
So he's tough.
He is tough.
Is he durable? That's the bigger question. Is
Yes.
he durable?
He's durable
Is
and
he
his will. I want
is
to
he
know
rounded?
his will.
I don't think so. I got Yoel. I mean, geez, I was under the impression that they were trying to bring Paulo along and build him, and I thought they were gonna give him another fight that he could win. That it wasn't not to say an easy fight. Not that he's had easy fights, because he just knocked out Uriah Hall and he knocked out Johnny Hendricks, and those are no easy fights, but stylistically they're more fitting for him.
Yes.
I didn't think they were gonna throw him someone like Yoel at this point, at this stage. So it is great. It is impressive to see.
Well, I think that was the plan, but I think maybe what they've seen, they have a lot of confidence in him, and they think that build and his finishes and his style, they're like, put him against Yoel. That's an entertaining fight, and it's one that they probably think he can win. They think it's a little easier than we do, I think.
Well, I think it's a win-win situation for upper management. If Paulo wins the fight, he just stopped, or he just defeated the former title challenger, and that he's now a hero. He's now extremely marketable because he just beat Hendricks, he just beat Hall, and then he beats Romero.
That is a pretty big level.
Now he's your new Romero in terms of marketing. He's your new boogeyman, because Yoel was the boogeyman of that division. Paulo becomes your new boogeyman. Paulo becomes a new person you can do things with. And then Yoel, that doesn't mean he can't be used anymore. Yoel will then most likely go up to like heavyweight, where he can then become the boogeyman of that division. That's one scenario. Alternatively, if Paulo loses, Yoel maintains his title of being the boogeyman of the middleweight division, and now, assuming he makes weight, he beats a really scary prospect, and now he once again instantly looks like the guy to beat in the division.
That's true.
And he's back in that top like 3 and 4 conversation with who's going to get the title shot.
That's pretty much how he does it. Because
I think it's a win-win situation for him. I'm just surprised.
Yeah, no,
I'm just
I know
surprised about it.
I mean,
but yeah, I have Yoel as well. I think I see Yoel finishing this. I see him finishing in the second round.
I don't know. I get a feeling.
I think he beats him up pretty bad in the first round.
I get a feeling it won't be a finish. And I can't put my finger on why. I just feel like...
I think in the first round, he beats him up and wears him out with wrestling. And in the second round, he puts him away any way he wants.
Maybe third round. Maybe third round.
But, let's see. What time? We're at 57 minutes now. How... Do we have something else left that we can fit in the next 15 minutes?
I think we can. Now, or like category wise, this is kind of like going back, but maybe we can touch on some of these things that's going on with LeBron. LeBron's opening up his own school. He's producing his own show. This man, now, this is just my personal speculation, my personal rumors. Probably not. Probably no weight behind it. But I feel like with all these things he's doing, I get the feeling that this season with the Lakers, and maybe one more, might be one of his last seasons. He might not be playing too much longer. Now, like I said, might not have that much weight to it. I could be just making predictions that are a little bit wild. But I just get that feeling from this whole show thing.
Well,
I feel like when basketball players reach out into other aspects, it's when they're like, I'm wrapping it up here.
Well, he obviously, I mean, it goes without question that he wasn't going to be playing much longer. We knew that. We knew that for a couple of reasons. One, his age, as we mentioned earlier. Two, he said he wanted to end his career in Los Angeles.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He said he wants to finish his career in Los Angeles. So we kind of got the idea from that okay, he's not playing much longer. And LeBron has always been a businessman, and he learned from the mold of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And so he's planting the seeds that will grow into his future outside of basketball. So
Smart man.
Yeah. It's cool. Smart.
What do you think about the school itself? This was it the I Promise school?
Don't know much about it, but it's dope for someone to start a school.
I'm not fully sure, so I won't quote too many things, but I know it's for some of the, I want to say, the kids who can't afford tuition. If they graduate out of the I Promise school, he's paying, the school pays their tuition, or however it works, pays their tuition into,
Okay.
I know it's for, like, needy parents, or like, not needy, I don't like to use that term. the underprivileged. So, these parents who can't afford schools,
Yeah.
they have the I Promise school. I know it's providing a lot of things, providing snacks daily on the lunch for kids who can't afford lunches. Yeah, I think it's awesome. I gotta be honest with you. If I did have anything else, or if I had other topics lined up in there, this heat is completely taking them from me.
Well, real quick, I feel like we have to talk about really quick. I thought you were going to get to it at some point, and you never did. So let's bring up the fights from this past weekend.
Well, see, that's the reason I didn't get to. You said that we might go ahead and do a twofer, and since the time got away from us, I just thought maybe because we have two fights that we definitely want to talk about, and a lot to say about them, and only a little bit of time, so we might be able to.
Okay, well, now we've talked about them too much to not talk about them.
All right.
We can't just talk about them without saying anything in front of the microphone and then not talk about them.
Okay, let's start. Dillashaw Garbrandt.
Now, you didn't get to see it with me. I saw it. I was watching the broadcast, the live broadcast, and I was excited. I was impressed. But you didn't get to see it until late. And I know that was a fight for you that you really like both of those guys.
Hey everyone, it's Nia, aka the homegirl behind the scenes making stuff happen. Sorry this episode got cut short. We had a bit of a technical difficulty and lost some of the audio from the end of the episode. But don't forget to follow Painfully Tight on Instagram and Twitter. Follow Javon on Twitter at Javon_Kamanawai. Follow Shawn on Snapchat at ShawnC150. On Twitter at ShawnJohn101010. And on SoundCloud at Black Cash, spelled BLACCCA$H, so you can hear him finally drop Super Hentai on August 14th, and it'll be coming out this time, I promise. And follow me on Instagram and Twitter at NiaHope96. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make up for Shawn's end of episode raps, but thanks for sticking with us, and we'll chat with you on the next episode.